say welcome to the Daily Allegory, because today I created 4 separate parables written into one story. I created this with the muse of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram with St. Michael, St. Gabriel, St. Uriel, and St. Raphael, with me being the observer putting my star on the square. Today's story is called The Four Messengers of the Broken Crown. Now, the first story is going to be in the northern watchtower through St. Michael on the right in the fire energy of Sideways Canaz. This is going to be for a King of Wands doing baneful magic and love spells in the Three of Cups. It has a darker aspect of it with backstabbing and betrayals with the Earth King Ixikal. So this story is called The Fire Bearer and the Crooked Flame. A fiery messenger appeared to the bearer of the Wand of Will and set a torch before him. The flame is meant to lead, the messenger said, but turned sideways, it becomes a wound, kind of like in chironic energy. In the ash, the fire room lay tilted, light spilling inward, burning the bearer's own hand. 3 cups rang in careless laughter around the bearer's court. Joy had now been mixed with binding. Blessings had been twisted into hooks, and the hooks found their way back into the caster's shadow. The court celebrated, unaware that the music masked a poison. From the north, the King of Stone sent his windless warning. The blade closest to your heart is the one that knows your name. That night, a familiar hand reached too easily for the bearer's back. He survived, but the wound taught him that kinship can sharpen knives. Bleeding into the snow, he followed the smoke of his own torch eastward. Now, the second parable is through St. Gabriel with reversed Tiwa's energy delivered by Odin for a Queen of Wands about a crime of passion with short-lived success, with the aspect of physical assault through Bataive and air energy. This is the Herald of Wind and the Broken Spear. In the east, a silver-voiced herald met the wounded bearer and pointed to the spear carved in the sand. The spear turned downward breaks the arm that throws it, the herald said. Victory reverse becomes spectacle. Bright, brief, but costly. An old god of storms whispered to the queen of living flame in a dream, your triumph will glitter, but it will not last. Do not build thrones from sparks. Kind of like premature celebration, if you will. The King of Air sent a warning carried by sudden wings. Guard your body as you guard your name. Not all blows are argued. Some arrive without words. Before dawn, the bearer heard a thud of footsteps behind him and fled into the desert, leaving the queen staring at a crown of smoke. The wind drove both of them south toward the heat of Omen. Now, in the southern energy, this is going to be through St. Uriel. We have Purith sideways, and this is invoking primal law, with the 3 of Swords reversed, with the aspect lesson of humility. And this is being apocalyptic omen warning through the 4 horsemen to a collective group, if you will, with fire and the King of Fire, Edelpirna. This is called the Lantern of Ash and the Lesson of the Shattered Heart. In the south, a quiet light rose from scorched earth, and a lantern bearer spoke. Chance, when turned sideways, becomes exposure. The rune of hidden doors lay crooked at their feet, secrets spilled from its seams. A heart once pierced began to mend backward. The wound teaching humility, the pride draining out with the pain. The lesson was not comfort, but balance. The self unlearned its own throne. Across the horizon rode 4 silhouettes of warning. Not to strike, but to count the cost of storms yet to come. The King of Flame murmured through heat shimmer. Fire purifies what bows. It devours what crowns itself. The desert opened in a marsh, and the lantern's glow dimmed into water light. Leaving us to the west, in the energies of St. Raphael, with Ingwas representing gestation, with the 9 of Wands reversed, for arrogance, spiritual cutoffs, and total loss of gifts. This is going to be delivered through Belial and Nyx, with forbidden necromancy and a warning from Ragiosel, the Water King. This is the green seed and the drowned gift. At the western edge where rivers forget their names, a healer set down a seed and said, "Growth hides in stillness." When endurance turns backwards, rest becomes the teacher. The seed slept in dark soil, waiting for its season, but arrogance stirred in the roots. Pride reached for gifts before their time, and the river withdrew its blessing. What had been giving grew quiet. The hands that grasped found only echo. From the deep, a shadow of law and a veil of night spoke as one omen. Power taken before its hour withers the field. What is forced rots the harvest. The King of Water sent his tide warning, "Do not wake what should have remained in the deep." Some doors are mouths, the river closed over the seed. The four roads, fire, wind, flame, and water, curled back toward the same crown, now cracked. And me being the observer and the point of the star as the coda for the broken crown. The bearer, the queen, and the lantern bearer all reached the same ruin at dusk. They saw that each warning had been one face of the same lesson. Warnings before total destruction, if you will. Power turned sideways wounds the hand that wields it. Joy twisted becomes a snare. Victory chased burns out. Pride cuts off its own breath, and every road, no matter where it begins, returns to the one who chose to listen too late. We're going to end this with the invocation of the four messengers of the broken crown. By the crown that cracked in silence, by the oath that split into four winds, I call the messengers of the broken crown, not as rulers over me, but as witnesses to truth and deliverers to consequence. Flame bearer of the south, keeper of the straight torch and the turned fire, teach me the difference between power that guides and power that wounds the hand that holds it. Let the crooked flame be revealed before it burns inward. Herald of the east, voice that rides the breath between words, unmask the victories that glitter and vanish. Let false triumph fall to ash before it becomes my throne. Lantern bearer of the north, keeper of quiet roads and counted footsteps, shine on the places where pride hides as certainty. Let humility open the door that force would shatter. Healer of the west, guardian of the seeds that sleep in dark water, teach me the patience of roots and seasons. Let no gift awaken before its hour, and no door be opened that is meant to remain sealed. Four winds, four warnings, one circle of witness. Stand at the quarters of my choosing, unweave false crowns from my brow. Return borrowed fire to its source. Let joy be clean. Let will be upright. Let the heart be tempered by truth. If I walk towards shadow, turn me towards seeing. If I mistake noise for power, return me to stillness. If I am tempted to rule what I do not understand, break the crown before it breaks me. By flame, by breath, by stone, by tide, the circle is named, the warning is heard, the crown is laid down. This whisper is now law that underlies law with the divine authority I contain. And so it is. That is all.